After two closures and 32 years of operation, the Alliance is back. The APFL Draft is 3 weeks away, and the WRL is getting a facelift for 2026. All of this and more in 30 seconds.
Welcome to Alliance Report Studios, brought to you by Sport Management Solutions. Here's your host, Brian B.
Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Alliance Report. Thanks for joining us. Let's get into it. Here is your rundown for the night. We're going to start with we are already back. So let me tell you what that means. For those of you that already saw the post that went out this morning about our rebirth and comeback video, you already know what's happening. I appreciate those of you that complimented on it today. I very much appreciate that. But this isn't just, hey, we're planning on coming back and this is just an announcement that we're around. We're already operational. So before we get into what we've built, let me tell you why we picked today to come back. So today is March 11th. It's the first day of the NFL league year. Like the real beginning of their league year, not the legal tampering area or thing that's happened over the last 2 days. Free agency opened up today at 4 p.m. It is the new start for the NFL 2026 season, and it is also our new and fresh start. So this timing wasn't random. FSA returns when the NFL season officially begins. So let me tell you things that we've already got in place. Again, not just that we're back, we're already operational. So we have already locked in 6 general managers for the APFL. More to follow on them in just a second. What is this? Wait, we are back? Just kidding, I'm ready. Yeah, we're back, in case you didn't know. Let's see, I missed a couple messages because it was down. Let's see, what did I miss? Getting me a bowl of Captain Crunch peanut butter. That's what Jason says. That's yummy. Make sure you don't cut your mouth. Sean says, hush, y'all, my show is back on. I love it. Let's see, what else do we got? Paul says, God, why does it keep doing that? Getting a bowl of Captain Crunch, hush, y'all, back. That's not a very healthy dinner. Oh, Breakfast of Champions. I'm here too, brother. Good to see you. What's up, Trev? That's a new looking logo for you as well. I'm glad you said that it was you. Let's see. Sean says was here the entire time. Let's see. Tracy says it's Brian. We need to thank Misty for allowing you to come back. Yeah, that's probably true. And then Matt Furby saying, let's go. And it's so funny that you said that about her because whenever I told her that we were closing down and give it the second time, I think she was probably more mad than anybody, to be honest with you. So now that I got all the messages up there, thank you for everybody that did message. Let's go back to what I was saying about us already being back with the APBL. So we've already got the 16 general managers locked in for the APBL. We had the draft order show for the APBL on the 28th of February. Now, we were supposed to have the draft on the 7th of March, but we had a little bit of an issue, and I'm going to talk about that more in a moment when we get to the tab that's over here that says baseball is here. In addition to the APBL being back, we've already secured the 36 general managers for this year's WRL. That will be more of that will come out in just a second when we get to football is coming, this one right here. The rules for the WRL have already been written and approved. We're also bringing back King of the Castle this year. Those rules have already been written and approved. In addition to all of that, the website that you all were playing around on last year in beta test mode is now back as well. And in fact, I wanted to do that while I was live with you all tonight. I just forgot to pull it up. We've had a little bit of issues. Of course, the first show back every year has a little bit of issues. Thank you to Jason for pointing out one of the titles was wrong because I uploaded the wrong image earlier. So I'm appreciative of him being out there. But let me get this website switched over for you all right while we're live. So if you go out to iplayfsa.com right now, you're going to still see the holding place saying that we were under construction all day today while we were converting the website over. More on that in a second too, because that was a long process. But what I'm doing right now, and hopefully it just worked, you should be able to go out to iplayfsa.com right now. And the website that you were used to seeing all of last year is there now too. So little bit of highlights going across the top with the FSA news, but that is now done as well. So website is live. We'll talk a little bit more about the website here as we go along. Let's see. Website's no longer beta test mode. Discord got a facelift. You all saw that this morning as well. We were supposed to release the rebirth video at 8 o'clock this morning. Thank you to Jason again for getting me through the shenanigans of that thing as well. Had a little bit of issue with it, but we were able to get it up, I think between 8:30, 8:31, something like that. Jason Norris says the champ is here. Welcome back to the WRL champion. Turd is in the house. And Jason says, I need a producer. You're absolutely right. I do need a producer. I wish you could do it from a distance, man. That would be very nice. So we sent the video out. It got a little bit of a late push this morning. It's supposed to go out at 8 o'clock. Goes out at 8:30 instead. We did the Discord facelift and turned everything back over to FSA at 9:30 today. While the majority of everybody said or maybe thought that the FSA was dead, we were in the background working. I know that there was a comment that was made that this happened the same thing as the last time we closed down, I think, which was in 2020 COVID timeframe or whatever. A little bit different this time, because when we closed down in COVID year, we actually did take an entire year off, and I actually stepped away for probably about 6 weeks and didn't touch anything with FSA. This one, I literally only stepped away for 72 hours and was already building. I just kept it on the down low. Sometimes they say that don't let anybody know what you're doing until it's built, and that's kind of what I did with this one. I tried to keep this one quiet as I was building it because I didn't want any distractions. So again, this just isn't an announcement. This isn't just an announcement that we're back. We have launched with all of the pieces already in place. So again, let me go over all of that. The 36 teams for the WRL have already been identified. We're bringing back King of the Castle. The 16 teams for the APBL are already there. We've already done the draft order show. The draft was supposed to happen already. We'll talk about that here in a second when we go to the baseball was here. Couple things I want to put out there right now. I'm going to tease you with this one. I want a dynasty. I want to bring a dynasty league back. We had all of those people that were picking between the arena leagues and the XFL and trying to pick which teams that they wanted to do and stuff like that. And it didn't happen. It didn't get off the ground, right? I want to do a dynasty. I also want to do King of the Castle. But here's the thing. I'm also not going to push it either. King of the Castle requires 16 general managers and 16 very active general managers. If we don't get it, we don't do King of the Castle. If we don't get the right mix of people for the dynasty that I want to do, and we literally laid the skeleton out probably 2.5, 3 hours before the show tonight, idea came to me, and I just started plugging away and putting some the skeleton, meat on the bone coming a little bit later. Probably got at least some tendons put on that thing. We've got an idea for a dynasty, and if we can get the right 12, 14, 16 people for that dynasty, we'll be back as well. So that must be now that I see it. That's Trevor. Yeah, the dynasty. I know Trevor's been fighting to get into one for a while. I think he was probably one of the victims that isn't going to get a chance or wasn't going to get a chance to do it because we closed down. Trevor wants to do it, so if we get the right mix of people, we're going to do it. Again, I'm not putting any pressure on myself. If we don't get the right 16 people for King of the Castle, or we don't get the right 12, 14, 16 people for the Dynasty League, it's just not going to happen. We will still have the WRL, we will still have the APBL, and we will just start that as the new basis as we try to grow this thing back to its heyday if we can make that happen again. All right, let's talk about baseball is here. So the draft order show is done. We ended up doing that in a Discord video chat for the first time that I've ever done it there. It was set to a private chat, only invited those 16 people that are in the APBL this year. Reason why we didn't do it out on YouTube like we normally do is I was still trying to keep this under wraps. I wanted to make sure that the 16 people that were doing the APBL were a part of it. Nobody else knew what was going on. So again, trying to build this thing, get it all done when nobody knew what we were doing. Again, the draft was supposed to be held this past Saturday at 6 p.m. and it didn't happen, and I'll tell you why. Let me see if I can get this to pop up and show you all. Yahoo has this new setting this year, as you can see it right here, where it says new edit draft settings. It's the very first menu item that's up there. It says underneath it, schedule your draft, choose your draft type, and set your draft order. Set the draft order there. We get ready to go into the actual draft itself. And a couple of the people, because we were on StreamYard, we were just going to hang out while we were drafting. A couple of people said, hey, the draft order is not right. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I go and look, and they're right. It's out of order. We tried to change it before we started on the draft, and Yahoo wouldn't let us. Yahoo locks everything an hour before ahead of time, and we couldn't get in there to change anything. So what we ended up doing was setting everybody on auto draft, hoping that it would just, after everybody's 2 picks were missed or whatever, went through the entire time or whatever, it would just zip right through it. We actually set everybody's draft timer to 15 seconds, tried to zip through everything, but Yahoo, even on an auto draft, takes 10 seconds to make picks. So it took us longer than an hour to even get through what should have been an auto draft for everybody. So we were unable to get it completed that night. Now, we've dug through all of the settings on Yahoo for this upcoming season, and here's where the confusion probably was. This new edit draft setting screwed us up, because that's not the only place you have to set your draft order. In this other menu down here that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down that says edit draft order and keeper league players, you have to go in there and set your draft order as well. And the reason I overlooked it is because we don't have any keeper league players, and I thought I was accomplishing it with that one that's up at the top. So you literally have to go in here, say you're not doing any keeper league players, you have to hit a radio button for it to be a custom draft round by round, and you have to set it that way. As far as I can tell, it's good to go now. Now, like I said, as far as I can tell, it's good to go. So here is my, Sean says it's ran by a bunch of Yahoos. In this case, it really was. Like, it was, I showed it to Spence earlier today too, and he goes, yeah, why does Yahoo have to make it so difficult? And over the last 2 years, we've had 0 issues with it. So why this year? I don't know. But anyway, so here's the contingency plan or the emergency plan, however you want to see it. I'm going to put it out now, but I'll probably put it out in the APBL channel on Discord as well. If we go in to do the draft that night, and right now we're looking at the draft to be redone on the 28th of March, which would have been 3 weeks later at 6 p.m. East Coast time. And the reason we're able to do that, even with the season starting on the 25th, is we're not going to start our scoring until the following week, week 2, because of that partial crazy first week. We're just not going to have any games during that week. So we can do our draft a little bit later. It will start on 30th of March for us. So if we go into the draft room on that day and the draft order is not what we expect it to be, we're just going to draft from those spots anyways. I want to get the draft done. I don't want to go through the chaos of trying to set it all up again, try to gather everybody on the 29th to draft. Most of the people that were in the APBL said they couldn't come back anyways on the 29th. So we're just going to draft from our spots. Again, I think I've got it fixed, but we won't know until we go in there. In the midst of trying to get this one fixed, one of the things that I needed to do was unlock the teams and relock them. Why I needed to do that, don't know, but it was the only way to get the rest of it to unlock itself as well, for me to be able to do that maintenance on it. When I did that, it erased the APBL schedule that we had put together. APBL schedule was 172 games. So I don't know why, but the first time I put the schedule together, it took me about 6 hours to do it. And maybe that was me generating it from scratch and getting it in Excel and uploading it to the server for it to do the art for us, and then posting it over into Yahoo. Maybe I did that all in one day. I don't know. But I'm not sure why that is still showing over there on the screen. Maybe it's because the video is really far behind. what was I saying? This time I was super dedicated and wanted to get that schedule back up there, and it only took me 55 minutes. So it's done. So that takes care of us for baseball. As I already said, football is coming back as well. Here's how the WRL for 2026 was built, how it came to me. This is how my crazy brain works. I have always wanted to give a very specific trophy away for the WRL. We've given a couple trophies away. You know, the majority of the time we want to do this with money. For many, many years, your membership, 50% of it or 49% of it paid for preseason gifts to you all. That's where these hats came from. Some people have got the original copy of the jersey. We've got other hats that are hanging over here around me. The 25th anniversary Walter hat that's right here. We decided to do money in, money out. And we haven't done a trophy since we went to the money in, money out theory. So the idea for the trophy came back to me again. And some of you have seen it on the art already, and I'm probably going to show it to you here in just a second. In fact, you know what? I want to switch this over, and I realized that I screwed up by not showing this during the baseball thing. Again, first episode of the year. Let me have my mess ups, okay? I promise there won't be too many more after tonight's show. But here is the draft order. So if this draft order for some reason doesn't show up whenever we go into Yahoo on the 28th, we're just going to draft from whatever spots we're in. So there is our draft order. But I want to show you this graphic right here. So the idea of that trophy, which is the Tri-Wizard Cup from Harry Potter, if anybody watches it. And I'm actually going to plead ignorant here because I have not seen all of the movies. I don't know that I've actually ever seen any of the movie from the beginning to the end, but I know enough about Harry Potter that I know what's going on, right? I wanted to do a trophy, the Tri-Wizard Cup, right? But I didn't know how I was going to format it. And I kept thinking about it, and here's what finally came to me. We had a lot of people that left FSA after I closed down this past time. So that reduced the number of people that were going to be able to come back for the redraft. So I wanted a good basic number that had a multiple of 12 in it because we're so used to doing with 12s in the FSA. So I knew that with 48 teams last year, the next smaller amount was 36. And I was like, how can I get 36, the Tri-Wizard Cup, all of that to fit together? So here's how we're going to do it. There will be more rules out there for you to read if you want to. Let's see, implement championship rings for the new iteration. So there's a very good possibility that we might do something like that for the Dynasty. I think what I'm going to try to do, and this is the first time I've admitted it out loud to anybody, since we're going to do a trophy for the WRL, I don't want the APBL to be left out as well. So I'm literally looking for a trophy that we can give out for the APBL as well, just so you all know. First time I've admitted that out loud. So to get 36 teams, 3 groups of 12, I knew when it came down to the playoffs that was going to make for a funky playoffs. Once you get the regional champions and you've got 3 left, somebody gets a bye into the finals. We did that the one year where we had 17 teams go to the playoffs. Every round there was a bye. Whoever the highest score was from the round before got the bye into the next round, but you couldn't have more than 1 bye. So when we got down to the final 3, one of the teams who hadn't had their bye yet got a bye into the finals. And the 2 teams that were in the semifinal round had already used their bye. Just ended up being a weird situation. So I started looking around and asking questions about cool implementations that we could do into a fantasy football league with 36 teams, 12 teams per region, 3 regions, to get a very similar schedule to what we ran last year, where you would have 3 divisions in each one of those regions. You'd play everybody inside your division twice, everybody outside once. What that would look like for the playoffs. You know, last year we took the 3 division winners, and it was just those 3 that went to the playoffs. And number 2 and number 3 played each other, while the number 1 overall got to sit. We're going to do a little bit different this year. I'm telling you probably more than I need to be telling you right now, because you can go out and read the rules. They're on the website already. Go to WRL, click the rules link over in the upper right-hand corner. You'll be able to see it. So here's what we're going to do. we're taking 5 teams from each one of the regions, and here's how it's going to go. That also makes for, you're thinking in your brain already that, well, that makes for a really weird playoff as well, right? A lot of my life sucked into the must be talking about the Harry Potter movies. Gotcha. 5 teams going to the playoffs. You think, well, that's a weird playoff system as well. Here's what we're going to do this year. The top 3 teams, the top team in each one of the divisions, the top 3 teams, they are all going to get first round buys. The 4 and the 5 seed team, which are going to be wild card teams, will play in round 1, which, if the NFL schedule mirrors like it did last year, will be the last week of bye weeks. So last year when we did it and we had 3 teams go, the number 2 and number 3 team had to play each other while there were still buys going on, and then that number 1 team that got the seed got full complement of their team against whoever it was that won in the 2-3 seed. So thinking forward and thinking that the NFL schedule will be the same, the 4-5 team are going to play each other. Those are 2 wild cards in the last week that has buys. Then the winner of that game will play the number 1 seed in the first week where there will be no more buys in the WRL. So if you're already thinking further into the playoff brackets, you're thinking, well, you just added another round of playoffs. How are we going to get the championship game done without it being in week 18? And here's how we're going to do it. Here's the Tri-Wizard Cup, the fun part of the league this year, and how we're going to avoid a weird bye into the finals. The 3 regional champions are going to play each other at the exact same time in that final week in week 17, and the team with the most points is going to be crowned the champion. Second most will get runner-up money, and the third most will get third place money. So here's how we're theming it this year. Not only do we have the Tri-Wizard Cup, Harry Potter theme, wizards, Walter, dragons. The handles on the Tri-Wizard Cup are dragons. Each one of the regions this year is going to be themed after a dragon. We are no longer going to go through that, letting people pick what region it's going to be and make it some kind of thing. No Cerberus, no Hydras, no Krakens, none of that stuff this year. Dragons, 3 dragons. We've got the gold, the red, and the black. We are still going to do the wheel this year, giving it a title this year, Wheel of Fate. You're going to go out there. Thank you, Furby. Appreciate it. Let's see. What did Paul say? I might have missed it. I'm torn. I want to be a fantasy champion, but the title is a port key and ultimately want to live. That's got to be a reference that I don't understand. Sort of understand, but not really. So I'm hoping. So here's what I'll tell you more about the cup in a second, Furby. So I'm glad you said that. So what was I saying? The dragons, red, gold, black. We will do the wheel, called Wheel of Fate this year. Do the same thing we did last year. We're going to do it slightly different. I think this idea actually came to us from Toby. The idea was everybody got together online last year. When your number came up, you picked where you wanted to go. We're not going to do that this year. What we're going to do is there's 36 numbers. We're just going to, or 36 names, we're going to spin the name. And then that will be the draft order 1 through 36. That list will come out on Discord, and then it'll be like a slow draft. We will say, what region and which division do you want to be in? And after you make your pick, the next person gets to make their pick, and we'll just keep going down that way and do everything on Discord kind of slow, where we don't have to have everybody live, so you're not missing out on anything. We don't have to randomly put you in there, no additional wheel spins to put you in a spot. You still get to pick your own spot, do it a little bit slower than what we did last year. We will have a draft order name list, kind of like we did as we were trying to pick our spots for the defunct dynasty that we were just got done doing, the federation for the defunct dynasty. Where that went a little slow, we will do the exact same thing for the WR this year. So let me go through my notes to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Yeah, that's it. I believe every single one of the rules are locked in. There are no yellow highlighted rules where we still need to make a decision on. Everything is done. It's been blessed on, approved, and posted. So if you want to go out, Kroll out there bringing the truth said that Rasheed White was the curse instead. That's funny. I like that. I love when jokes like that come full circle, and it's been like a whole year or two since that happened, right? So that's awesome. All right, so let's talk about what else is coming for FSA. We've kind of already mentioned at the top of the show. I would like to bring back King of the Castle. The rules have already written and been approved. More to follow as I start pitching the idea to everybody tomorrow. Same thing with the Dynasty as well, and see who wants to join. Like I said, the King of the Castle requires 16 to play it the way that it's supposed to be properly played. If we can't get the 16 dedicated general managers for that one, it's just not going to happen. No big deal. For the Dynasty, I don't know if we're going to do 12, 14, 16, but again, dedicated people, if we don't get it, no big deal. We already have the dedicated people for the APBL and the WRL. We'll just roll with those two leagues if we need to. One of the things that is going to be birthed from the WRL, which we don't have all of the details for yet, but we have the idea and the concept for, and they will be developed over this football season. We made a comment last year about the tiered playoff system when we did tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And we said all of the tier 1 teams, because there was 12 of them total, wouldn't it be cool if those 12 teams could break off and start another league? Because it's a really good competition between those 12s. We are going to do that with the WRL, the Tri-Wizard Cup, at the end of the 2026 season, and we move to the 2027 season. Here's what we're going to do. We're basically introducing a promotion and relegation at the redraft level. So the 12 teams that are the top 12 WRL finishers. So what that will be is the 4-5 that play in that first round of the playoffs. The winner of that will join the 1, 2, and 3. That will give you 4 teams. And you'll see that times 3, 1 for each one of the regions. That's your 12 teams. Those 12 teams are going to join an elite redraft league the next year called the Round Table. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find 12 new teams to replace those 12 that just left to backfill at the WRL Tri-Wizard Cup level, and we will have 36 teams there again. So now we will have 12 elite teams at the Round Table League, and then we will have the 36 back at the WRL again. And every year we will promote and relegate teams based on where they finished in the WRL and in the Round Table from year to year. Again, more details to follow, and I do believe that we scratched the surface of it on the WRL rules. So if you want to go out and read a little bit more, it's there. But the rest of the details of that league are going to be developed this offseason and through the WRL season, and will be introduced at the beginning of 2027. Let's see what else we got. What else is coming? MJV8 next week. Not sure anyone else will get it. Yeah, I'm not sure I get it either. Not sure I get it either. So I think that takes care of everything about what else is for FSA. So something I want to touch on now. I want to kind of touch on a little bit of a touchy subject on why we closed twice. I want to make sure that I catch all of the details so everybody understands. Jason, I see what you got coming up. Oh, I got you now, Sean. The Midjourney V8 next week. Not sure everyone else will get it. I haven't played around with 7 enough to even care if 8 is coming around or not. And I haven't played around with ranking stuff enough if that is a thing right now. I need to talk to you offline about that. Jason says, I might not ever see the Round Table, and Jason, you might not. But you know what? It would be crazy. We introduce something like this, and this will be the year that you kick ass, and you end up being at the Round Table next year. All right, so why have we closed twice? I want to make sure that I touch on everything here because I want everybody to understand what happened. And I want to be an open door about this as well because I don't want there to be any, we still don't understand. So in 2021, which was our first closer, here's why it went down. We had a bad trade that went down in the Delta Defunct Dynasty League. For those of you that were a part of Alpha through Delta, because we never got Echo and Foxtrot off the ground, understood that the Delta League was made up of members from Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. So when the bad trade went down, and I will admit it was a bad trade, the two people that were involved in the trade said that if you reverse this trade, we're quitting FSA. And one of the other people that was in Delta says, if you let this trade stand, I'm leaving FSA. So there was three people that were going to affect and influence what was going on with FSA at that time. And it wasn't just Delta that it was going to hurt. Each one of those guys that was in Delta, one was in Alpha, one was in Bravo, one was in Charlie, and all three of them also played in the WRL, or what was the WRL back then. We called it the Fanatic Real Redraft League back then. So it was going to affect 4 Dynasty Leagues and the Redraft League. And I had my own personal stuff going on professionally. I had just taken over headquarters in Alpha Company as a first sergeant. Workload was super heavy. For those that remember that time, I wasn't even able to keep up on Discord because I was so busy. We had so many channels that were going on, and I was working all the time, and my phone would buzz nonstop in my pocket. It was buzzing so much I thought I was getting phone calls. For those that know the exclamation point rank on Discord, so you see where you can rank or where you rank yourself among all of the chatters that are there based on how much you chat. I'm the commissioner of a league, and I fell to 3rd in that ranking. So instead of MJ's here, how are you, MJ? Hope you're feeling better. So instead of letting FSA close by somebody else's hands, I just decided to close the doors myself. My one regret is, I just mentioned the Echo and the Foxtrot people, that they never got to play. And then none of them stuck around with FSA even after we reopened like 6 or 7 weeks later to get prepared for 2022. So that takes care of why the first closure was. So it was a bad trade that a couple people said that they were going to quit. It was going to cause a catastrophic ripple through the FSA, and I didn't want that to happen. So I decided to go ahead and close the doors myself. So let me fast forward to the second closure, which just happened right at the end of 2025. So as most of you know, I was dealing with a very serious health crisis. For those of you who don't know, I went to go see an Army doctor who turned me away even though I was feeling the worst I've ever felt in my life, and claimed that I was an alcoholic and sent me on my way. The very next day I ended up in the hospital, and I refused to go back to a military doctor because of what he had said to me. I ended up spending 4 days in the hospital, in which I almost died. Ended up being diagnosed with severe sepsis. Did a couple of days in the hospital, 4 days in the hospital, home with oral meds for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks after I finished the oral meds, I was back in the hospital again, this time for 9 days. Severe sepsis had returned. The original oral medication was not doing anything for it. It took them many days to figure out what the infection was going to be responsive to. They finally figured it out, and in the process of figuring it out, they put a PICC line in, which is like a more permanent IV that goes in the upper part of your arm. For me, it ran up the arm and across and sat right above my heart. And every single day, IV meds needed to be put in for what was supposed to be 6 weeks, turned into 8 weeks with an additional 2 weeks after that. And again, during that time in the hospital in the 9 days, I almost died when I was in there as well. So I was dealing with some very serious health issues and getting the IV meds at home. During that time, in one of the mornings where I was getting IV meds, there was an ad drop issue in the WRL. We had reached the playoffs. A team who had just eliminated another team. The eliminated team had moved into the free agency and picked up a player. And the previous week, we had closed out the ability for anybody who had been eliminated from the playoffs from being able to make any moves. Me going through all of the stuff that I was going through, I forgot to do that for that upcoming week. The player who had been eliminated dropped a player, added a player. The player that he added, another player the team that actually had just beat him wanted them instead. And rightfully so, I recognized that I had made the mistake and that I did not eliminate or keep the eliminated teams from being able to make that move. So I was going to fix the issue, but I couldn't at that moment because I was getting the IV meds put in me. And it was a slow push with the IV meds. It literally took over 10 minutes to put the meds in me every single day. I see KDB1 out there. KB1, how are you? So it took 10 minutes to push them. But before as I took a photo to show everybody why I wasn't reacting quickly to getting that move reversed. I took the picture and posted it, and it took a while to post to Discord. Before the photo went through, somebody made a comment questioning the authenticity of some of the FSA content that we had published on the website last year as the beta test website, calling my AI assisted work fake stories. They were upset because I wasn't moving fast enough. Then the photo did post, and they tried to apologize, but the damage was already done. Now here's the part that the majority of you don't know, and I'm going to be real with you all. You all saw what happened publicly and what was going on in the chats. That was just the tip of the iceberg. You all didn't see the behind the scenes, the disrespect, the personal attacks, and the toxicity that individual and other individuals were still putting me through. And that's as far as I'm going to go with the details with that. You all only saw part of it. You didn't get to see the background scenes. So I made a knee-jerk reaction and decided to shut it all down. Do I regret it? Yeah, because it makes me look bad. 2 times we've closed FSA down now, and those 2 times have been in the last 6 years after being operational for 27 years up to the first close down. So I felt a little bit about it, but in the process of that, I got to see people's true colors. I got to see where people personally felt. The toxic members showed who they really were, and I can promise you that I will never let them back in to FSA again. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I wanted everybody to know why we closed down the second time. And then again, like I said at the top of the show, I want you also all to know that I was only closed for 72 hours. That was all I stayed down. I was upset by the AI comment. But in my brain, I was like, I've been doing this for too long. I have more time now than I've ever had in my life to be able to make this thing something more than it ever has been. I've been able to build this website over a year, not knowing a whole lot of code, but have had a lot of assistance from AI to help me do this. People question it being real or authentic, the stuff that's being posted on the website. But here's the deal. I didn't back away from it. I'm not going to back away from the AI stuff. In fact, I tripled down on what I'm doing with AI because AI isn't replacing me. It is amplifying what I can do for FSA. And let me see if I can pull up a chat here and see if anybody else is saying anything. I appreciate it, MJ. Can't keep a good man down. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. It's amplifying what we can do for FSA. So I'm going to talk more about it whenever I get to the AI team here. But the professional level of operation that I have always wanted FSA to be, I can't do that on my own no matter how hard I work. And I just can't please everybody. I'm going to kill myself trying to do that, as evident of what I've already been through with my health concerns. So the toxic people showed themselves, and I did what I needed to do to protect our community. The infrastructure of what I have here at FSA means more than the hustle. I'm trying to have a really good work-life balance, and systems being put in place will help me from being burnt out. MJ said the real ones never went away. Said the real one stuck around. I appreciate to all of the people that did. Thank you very much. I do very much appreciate it. I heard a quote when I was driving back from Ohio this last time I visited that said, the key to a business isn't to avoid failure. It's to build a business strong enough to survive your mistakes. And I believe that me closing down was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction and mistake. But like I said, we got rid of toxicity. And I think that we have built something here at FSA that's strong enough to survive mistakes. We've closed down twice now, and we have a 16-team APBL league, the largest that we've ever had. We had 36 general managers committing to the WRL for 2026 within 72 hours of me closing down. All I do is reach out, and they said yes. So thank you to everybody who stuck around. I very much appreciate you. You have no idea. All right, so we talked about the AI stuff a little bit. Let's talk about it even a little bit more, the AI team. I'm going to be completely transparent about this AI stuff, all right? FSA is operating with an AI team. If you went out and visited the website at all last year while we were in the beta test mode, you were going to see a couple of faces that were AI generated, their faces AI generated, that were out there. And these were people, AI characters that were helping me build certain aspects of FSA to be able to provide you with a great product. I had somebody who was helping me make decisions or helping me come up with decisions for things like a 36-team WRL league. I had another character that was helping me build all of the website. I had two characters that were helping me write stories, one for the WRL, one for the APBL. All of this stuff was happening with AI. With that, we were able to put out what I think is a great product last year, one of the best ones that we've ever had. Let's see, and baseball is back. AI is awesome. AI is awesome if it's being used correctly. And Matt says, be proud of the AI. And I'm going to show you how proud I am of it here, Matt, in just a second. So I'm not hiding anymore that a lot of what's going on with FSA is being worked with in the realm of AI. Because it's how I'm going to be able to scale what I've always wanted FSA to be without burning myself out again. So here's what I want to do. Let me see if I can make this happen. Might take me a second to get it to work because I wasn't really prepared. Oh man, did take me but a second right there. Okay, so I want you all to see is the iPlayFSA.com website. It is no longer test.iPlayFSA.com. It is now live, and it looks just like it did last year when we were there. All right, here's what I want you to see. You come up here to our team now, and I want you to meet everybody who is now a part of the team with FSA. Alex, he's my operations director. CUOPS, current operations, that's what it stands for. Simone Hayes, she is my broadcast producer. This is Simone down here. Isabella Reyes, she's my graphic designer. Andrew Reed, he's the guy that does all of the things with me for the website. And all of these other people that are on here. Priya, my FUOPS director. Jim Clark, he's doing all of this great work, optical character recognition, for me to be able to take all of that old data that I had that was on paper from our early years of FSA and easily churn it into digital formats with SQL uploads that I can go directly into our database. Kim Moretti, she is my overall editor for the stories that are being written by these three down here, Merrick, David, and Zachary. So all of that is happening right now. Y'all don't want to see that. Let me see, how do I get that off the screen? All right, there we go. Told you mistakes, first show of the year. So let me tell you what they're really doing for us. They're handling the infrastructure type stuff that used to bury me. Stuff that would take me a long time to write or research or do on my own. They're going to be doing content creation, weekly storylines, analysis, formatted articles, Isabella's going to be doing graphics for me. The stuff that you're seeing right now on the broadcast tonight, Isabella did that for me. League materials, Kim's going to be able to do PDFs for me. The scheduling stuff that we did for the 22 game schedule this year for the APBL, that was done by Alex. Andrew does all of the website stuff that you just saw me transfer over today. It was 228 files that I had to go through one at a time to update code on to get pushed up here, but didn't know how to do all of that without their input. Jason's right. Now I just need a broadcast producer. That's the only thing missing from this team now. MJ Zach says Zachary is my favorite. He's going to be great writing baseball for us this year. Let me tell you what I've done so you understand where the tone is coming from with Zachary this year. I want to feed. Kevin says it's great. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I know you. With what you do, you have to probably be using it every day because you, again, would be buried in stuff if you weren't having somebody help you. I tried to get regional managers to work with me years ago, and I think Jason might be the only one that's still around that was a part of that group years ago. But nobody is going to be dedicated as you are to something that you love and that you're passionate about, right? And they all have lives. They had families. They were married. They have kids. They can't be as dedicated to this thing just because I am. But what I have now is an AI team that can't ever tell me no. They can't ever get burnt out. The ideas that I brainstorm with them every single day is amazing. Like, I can't wait to show you what we've got that's coming out tomorrow. It's a thing that I'm not even going to touch on right now other than what I'm just saying because it's a new thing to FSA that we've never had before, and it's going to come out tomorrow. The Dynasty idea that we have that I worked on for 2.5, 3 hours before I went live is something that we've never done in FSA either. That idea came from brainstorming with AI. So, all of these things that AI is doing, they are there to help make sure that I don't get burnt out again. They are not making league decisions. I am. They don't interpret rules. I do. They don't set strategy or direction. I do that. And they are never going to replace the human element, but they definitely amplify it for me. They are definitely helping me, as evident of me being able to do all of this stuff since we closed down. And I don't even know that it's been 6 or 7 weeks since we closed down. So why this works. Yeah, there you go. The Magnificent Seven, right? We had it. Jason says, well, now I feel old. Jason was a part of that. That was, shoot, Jason, I think when we finally put the entire team together and it was all humans, I was still stationed in Texas at the first house. So this would have been like 2015-ish or so. So now it's like 11 years ago when we attempted this, right? Before the advent of AI or before we all were using it like we do now. So every piece of AI content is going to be reviewed and approved by me. Every graphic's going to go through my eyes. Every decision is going to be mine. It's just helping me execute the vision that I've always wanted. And it's like having a staff of people like I've always wanted without the overhead. In all reality, I pay $20 a month for a program called Claude, which part of those AI characters you just saw are on. And now, after reluctantly wanting to not do it, I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT. I'm paying 9 employees $40 a month. Split among them is $4 and some change a month for me to get to the point of where I'm at now. So what is this going to mean for you? Things that you might be asking yourself right now for those who don't use AI and are still on the bubble about what is it really, and is FSA still legit because they're going so deep into using AI? So is AI assisted content real? Absolutely. It's no different than a calculator helping you do math, and it's no different than spell check helping you write. AI is like a tool, like Photoshop is for graphics and Excel is for stats. The difference is now instead of hiding it, I'm going to be transparent about it. I'm announcing it to you all right now, and you can go out and see our team, who the AI characters are. In fact, you can go out on each one of those people on our team page, click on it, and you can see what they are doing for me. It gives a description of the things that they can and will be doing for me. Each one of them broken down into a certain sector that they're doing things for me. AI is brainless, still needs a prompt creator and someone feeding it ideas. It just does the physical work for free up the manpower. Absolutely 100%. Thank you, Kevin. You still have to. For those of you who have never used Midjourney, because Sean mentioned it a little bit ago, you don't get a piece of art without giving it a prompt, and it still doesn't give you what you want all the time. Sean and I can attest to how much work we've put into prompts to get things that we want. It's not always the easiest tool to use. I even had problems with the website conversion today. You just have to get familiar with it. So what does this mean for you all as FSA members? You're going to get more content, not less, evident of something that's coming out tomorrow. That's your last hint. You're going to get higher quality stuff, not lower. I'm still iffy about this look for this year. Every year we always change the static image on the front page. But over the last 2 years, we've kept the same guts inside this page. Isabella created this for me. I'm still not 100% sold on it, but what I do like is how it's branded all together. Opening scene looks like what you're seeing me on right now. The gold and the blues. This additional cam spot that I'm going to pop up again real quick, how it all looks the same. I do like the branding of it. Just not sure if I'm sold on it yet. I'm going to be more consistent with the delivery of stuff and not sporadic. You all are going to have a very locked in, pinned in schedule of when things are going to happen this year, because things are going to be able to get done easier now that I've put more things in place. Something small that I did. I was just working with AI today. Something I used to do every at the end of every week in APBL baseball and in the two FSA football leagues was uploading scores into our all-time database so we could see the head-to-head all-time stuff against each other. That used to take me an hour per each one of the leagues. After talking with AI, we have figured out a way to automate it, so much so that the only thing that I need to do is enter just the scores, not even drop downs to select teams in baseball anymore. Just add the scores of the 16 teams at the end of the week to put it on our all-time stuff. And I no longer even have to touch it for football. It's going to be automatically pushed up to the database. Do you know how much time I just saved myself? I went from something that took me 3 hours a week to something that's going to take me to enter in 16 numbers on a keyboard. That's it. I could be done in a couple of minutes. Saved up so much free time for me to work on other things. So proof that need to add a teleprompter to camera. You're absolutely right. I've thought about it. And a tagline for the end of the live stream. I've got one this year. I don't know how well it's going to go over, but we're going to try it. I appreciate it, Jason. So the proof in how well this is doing, other than the stories that I'm telling you as I'm randomly rambling here, is you saw the comeback video. For those of you that saw it on Discord or went out to YouTube and saw it, Isabella built all of the image that's on there. I used a thing called 11 Labs, which is an AI-generated program to do all of the voiceovers that are on that thing. You see the broadcast rundown over here. It's new. Production quality, I'm still iffy on it, but this was done by Isabella as well. The website that you can now go to that has been in beta test for a whole year, that is now the iPlayFSA.com. Andrew helped me build all of that. The organized structure of this show and the way my script looks for me to look at it tonight, since Jason said teleprompter, Simone helped me do that. And then all of the strategic planning that you see going on and all of the things that I'm talking about with the future and the Tri-Wizard Cup and what we're going to do for the Dynasty League and all of that stuff, Alex helped me with all of that stuff. So the proof is already there that it's working. All right. Let me get off all of my randomness here and let's try to see if we can get this thing done in under an hour, because I did not know we were going to be here this long. So we're here to stay. We have operated for 32 years on dedication and creativity. I didn't want to see it all go away because of a couple bad apples. AI isn't replacing any of it, and I know we spend a lot of time talking about AI, but damn, I am so hyped about how much that I've been able to do with AI in the short amount of time whenever I had a real good goal, dedicated goal like I had to make this comeback. AI isn't going to replace anything. It's going to amplify everything that we do. I'm still making every decision. I'm still reviewing every piece of content. I'm still managing every operation. I'm not doing it alone anymore. So when people call my AI work fake stories, they're missing the point. They were right about something. The routine stuff that a commissioner is supposed to do, I missed out on, which is why there was a delay in me getting that done for them. The thing is it was going to get done. Was it a knee-jerk reaction for a pissed poor time comment? Probably. But the ripple effects after that put me in a place that I've never been happier in probably the last 6 or 7 years of operation of FSA. This AI team isn't going to replace me. It's going to amplify what I can deliver for you all. And the way we are building it, it's going to make FSA last this time. There is absolutely, until death do us part, I am not leaving FSA ever again. All right, so let's see. What does that say? As long as AI doesn't create the T1000 and dominate our league as a team. I think Turd is already doing that for us. He already looks like Jason with the 2 swords and stuff like that. So he's already got the little hatchet arm thing going on anyways. The name placard looks good on the new layout, so I appreciate that. I like that. That was a last minute thing that came yesterday. And when I talk about how AI has problems, that graphic, this graphic right here that you see, took almost 2 hours to come up with for it to look that way. And ultimately, after it was all said and done, she, Isabella, still couldn't give it to me great with Walter on it. I still took this into Photoshop and put Walter on there myself. So it looks good. It was 2 people working together, and this is what we've got now. So here to stay. I want to say thank you to the 36 general managers who believed enough in FSA and our return to join us in 2026, even after we've had our 2 closures. Thank you to the 16 APBL general managers, especially after going through the hoota-hada that we went through the other night with the draft. Hopefully we go to the 28th and won't have any issues. You all coming back is not just a commitment. It's a belief in what FSA is, and that's why this comeback matters so much more to me. I've failed twice. I won't fail you again. It's not because I won't make mistakes. I know I will, but I have a team in place now with all of these AI characters that will help me work through it before any of them become a ginormous crisis. If you get a chance, look over the rules for the APBL, the WRL, and the King of the Castle. If you can't find them, let me know. I'll post them in Discord. But when you see the quality of work just in the rules this year, where there will be at least no anticipated holes in the thought process of the rules, where something like what just caused us to close down and have a misunderstanding or knee-jerk reaction will be able to be found. The average length of the rules are 14 pages now, depending on those 3 leagues that you look at. There's an amazing amount of information there. So if you get a chance, go out there and look at them. So Jason, here is the closing for the night. Fellow Fanatics, we are back. We're here to stay. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brian B., and this has been the Alliance Report.